So, we're about to jump into one of the most interesting challenges in all of literature. Really, the story of Jesus. It's told in 4 books, the Gospels, but 3 of them, Matthew, Mark, and John, start this huge story in totally different ways. Each one gives a powerful, unique answer to one massive question.
So let me ask you this. If it was your job to write the opening for what you believed was the most important story in the entire world, where would you even begin? Seriously, do you start with a big bang? A quiet, reflective moment? A deep dive into all the history?
Well, that's the exact problem the gospel writers were up against. And you know what? They didn't all come up with the same answer. So we're going to explore 3 totally distinct, kind of brilliant introductions that set the stage for everything that comes after.
Okay, first up, Matthew. You can think of him as the historian. He takes this long view, framing Jesus not as some brand new thing, but as the grand finale to a story that God had been writing for centuries. For Matthew, context is everything.
Now, if you want to get Matthew, you've got to understand this one word, fulfillment. You'll see the Korean term there, sangchiwi, which really gets at this idea of bringing a plan to its final, perfect form. Matthew is constantly showing how Jesus' life isn't just a series of random events, but the intentional completion of ancient promises. Every little detail is on purpose, bringing this long, unfolding story to its climax.
And he doesn't just tell you this, he shows you. Right out of the gate, Matthew connects Jesus' birth directly to a prophecy from the ancient book of Isaiah. He's basically saying, see, this was the plan all along. This baby, he's the one we've been waiting for.
And it's not a one-off thing. He does it again just a few verses later, linking the town of Jesus' birth, Bethlehem, to a super-specific prophecy from the book of Micah. And this pattern happens over and over and over. For Matthew, history isn't just one thing after another. It's a tapestry of promises that are all pointing to this one single moment.
So what's the big takeaway from Matthew's approach? Well, it's this idea that just as Jesus' story is part of a much bigger divine story, so are our lives. You and me, we aren't just random accidents. We are born into a story that's already in motion, and it's inside that grand narrative that we can actually find our purpose, our direction, and this deep reassurance that we matter.
All right, let's switch gears completely and turn to our second author, Mark. His approach could not be more different. If Matthew is the careful historian laying out his evidence, Mark is the journalist shouting a breaking news headline. He's got an urgent message, and he cannot wait to tell you about it.
I mean, there's no long family tree, no backstory, no slow buildup. Mark just drops you right into the middle of the action. His writing feels breathless and fast-paced, and that's because he genuinely believes what he's about to tell you is the most important news you will ever hear in your life.
And this is it. This is how he starts. One sentence, no messing around. It's direct, it's bold, and it totally sets the tone for his entire story. This isn't just history, it's good news. But what exactly makes it news?
This is what's so cool about Mark's urgency. For centuries, the idea that God exists, well, that wasn't news. Most people believed in some kind of God. The breaking news, the headline Mark is shouting from the rooftops, is that God isn't distant, he's not abstract, he is here, right now, and he is on our side. That's a game changer.
And if that wasn't big enough news, it gets even more personal. This good news isn't just about a powerful being showing up out of nowhere. Mark's reporting that this God wants a relationship with us so close, so intimate that it calls us family. Now that was a radical, life-altering piece of news.
All right, so we've had the historian and the journalist. Now for our third author, John, who takes a completely different path from the other 2. If Matthew is the historian and Mark is the journalist, John is, well, he's the poet. He zooms all the way out to give us this cosmic, almost philosophical beginning to his story. John starts his story with words that should sound really familiar. They're meant to echo the very first sentence of the entire Bible, in the beginning. See, he wants to connect Jesus not just to history and prophecy, but to the actual moment of creation itself. And he introduces this incredible concept of the Word, a divine, creative power that has always existed. And this is where John's whole idea just clicks into place. He shows us 2 great acts of this divine Word. First, back in Genesis, the Word speaks, and the universe just springs into existence. And now, John says, that exact same Word has entered our broken world in the person of Jesus to speak again, but this time it's to heal, to restore, and to save. So you see, for John, this is the whole point. Jesus isn't just carrying a message from God. He is the message. He is the divine word made flesh, the creative power of the entire universe walking around among us. It's just an incredibly profound way to start a story.
Okay, so we've got three really different beginnings, right? The historian, the journalist, and the poet. Each one is giving us a totally unique lens to see the exact same story. So the question is, what does this all mean for us, right here, right now?
Let's just break it down. Matthew, the historian, he's telling you your life isn't random. It has real meaning inside God's huge historical plan. Then you've got Mark, the journalist, who's shouting that you're not alone. God is here for you right now and wants to call you family. And then there's John, the poet, whispering that you are deeply, fundamentally connected to the very word that spoke the stars into existence.
So we end up right back where we started, but with a new question. It's not just how you would start the story, but which of these beginnings resonates with you the most today? Do you need to feel like you're part of a bigger purpose? Do you need the urgent good news that God is with you in this moment? Or do you maybe need to be reminded of your cosmic connection to the creator of everything? 3 stories, 1 beginning, and maybe, just maybe, the one answer you needed to hear.